Hello everyone. This is the third lecture of the unit number 1 of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetic. Subject code is BP604T and the topic for today's lecture is mechanism of drug absorption part 2. In the previous lecture I have discussed about the passive transport processes. There are 4 different processes that are involved in the passive transport, that is the passive diffusion, the pore transport, ion pair transport and last one is the facilitated diffusion. Okay. So, first 3 I have already discussed in the previous lecture. Now, I will discuss about the carrier mediated transport system. Okay. So, there are some polar drugs or some polar compounds that can cross the membrane more readily as compared to that can be predicted from their concentration gradient and the partition coefficient values. Okay. So, the mechanism or the phenomena that is involved behind this movement is the carrier. Okay. So, this is nothing but a carrier molecule that can bind non-covalently or that can bind reversibly with the solute molecules that we want to get transported. Okay. So, this is the carrier mediated transport. Why this is called as the carrier mediated transport? Because there is a movement of, there is the involvement of the carrier molecule in case of for the drug transport. Okay. So, there are some important characteristics of this carrier mediated transport. First characteristic is the carriers have no directionality, means they can work with the same efficiency in both the direction. Okay. Next is a carrier protein always has an uncharged outer surface. Okay. The carrier protein will always be non-polar, okay, which because of which it can be soluble within the lipid of the membrane. Okay. The third characteristic is the transport process is the structure specific process. The transport process that occurs with the help of carrier mediated transport is the structure specific process. Why? Because the carriers molecule we are having special affinity for the drug substances having the similar structures. Okay, means just like the lock and key arrangements. That is why the carrier molecules are having the affinity for the essential nutrients. Okay. And because the system is structure specific, there can be the transport of certain drug substances that are having the same structure like the essential nutrients. And if the movement of certain essential nutrients or certain substances that are having the structure similar to the essential nutrients takes place, they will be called as the false nutrients. For example, 5-fluorouracil and 5-bromouracil are the anti-neoplastic agents that can serve as a false nutrients and that can be transported with the help of carrier mediated transport process. Okay. The next characteristic of this carrier mediated transport is it is the capacity limited process. Okay. Because the number of carriers are limited, so the transport system can have the competition between certain agents that are having the similar structure. Okay. And because the system is capacity limited, the number of carriers molecules are limited. So, the rate of absorption can differ from the passive diffusion process. In case of passive diffusion process, when we plot a curve between the concentration of drug at the absorption site and the rate of drug absorption. Here the rate of drug absorption, and here the concentration of drug. If we plot a curve between the rate of drug absorption and the concentration of drug at the absorption site, if the drug transport takes place with the help of passive diffusion process, then we will achieve a linear line, then we will achieve a linear graph. Okay. And if the drug is getting absorbed with the help of this process, that is the carrier mediated transport, then what we will get? We will get a line like this. Okay. Means we will achieve a asymptote, because in this there is involvement of the carrier molecule, and because the number of carrier molecules are limited, that is why after reaching at a certain point the curve will become like this, the curve will reach asymptote. Okay. So, and this is called as the mixed order kinetics. As I have told you in the previous lecture that in case of passive diffusion, the first order rate process is followed, but in case of carrier mediated transport, because there is mixing of the order. So, in the beginning of the rate process, there is the first order rate process, it is the first order rate process, but after some time it will be converted into the zero order rate process. It will converted into zero order rate process. That is why the kinetics of carrier mediated transport is also known as the mixed order kinetics or the non-linear kinetics or the Michaelis-Menten saturation. Okay. Because in case of passive diffusion, we are getting a linear curve and the drug is getting absorbed with the first order rate process. But in case of carrier mediated transport, we are achieving a mix up of the first order and the zero order rate process. That is why the carrier mediated transport, this capacity limited process can be represented by the mixed order kinetics. Mixed order kinetics, and this mixed order kinetics can also be called as non-linear kinetics, okay, and as well as the Michaelis-Menten saturation. Michaelis-Menten, that can be determined by using the Michaelis-Menten equation. Okay. Now, this carrier mediated transport is having two different types. It is categorized into two different categories. First is the facilitated diffusion. Okay. So, what is facilitated diffusion? It is a type of carrier mediated transport system. Why it is carrier mediated transport system? Because there is involvement of a carrier molecule. Okay. And this transport system will operate down the concentration gradient, means the transport will take place from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, and it will be called as a downhill transport. Okay. But this the transport that occurs with the help of facilitated diffusion will be much faster rate than can be accounted by the simple passive diffusion. Okay. The facilitated diffusion is also known is a type of carrier mediated transport system that is operating down the concentration gradient, means it is a downhill transport. The drug is moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, but because in this there is movement of the carrier molecule, so it will be at much faster rate as compared to the passive diffusion process. Okay. And in this facilitated diffusion, the driving force that is involved is the concentration gradient. Okay. And no energy expenditure is involved, the no energy requirement is there. That is why this process is not affected by the metabolic poisons, okay, because there is no requirement of the energy. Okay. So, this is the diagram that is showing the facilitated diffusion. The absorption of vitamin B12 takes place with the help of this facilitated diffusion process. What happens in this? The vitamin B12 is combining with the intrinsic factor and a carrier molecule, and this B12IF carrier complex will be formulated. Okay. And when this complex is transported through the membrane, the free vitamin B12 as well as the intrinsic factor is delivered here, and this carrier molecule will further reach into the gastrointestinal lumen. Means in this the carrier molecule will take the drug from from the GIT, and it will transport this molecule into the blood, and after reaching the blood it will get dissociate, and this will move back to the GI lumen to take another molecule of the drug. Okay. So, this is the facilitated diffusion process, that is the type of a carrier mediated transport system. Okay. The next transport process that is involved in this is the active transport. So, as the name indicate, it is active, that is why there will be the requirement of the energy. Okay. So, this transport mechanism will require energy in the form of ATP. So, the active transport mechanism is subdivided into two types, that is the primary active transport and the secondary active transport. Okay. There will be two different types of active transport. First is the primary active transport and second one is the secondary active transport. So, first is the primary active transport. What happen in this? In this process there will be direct requirement of the ATP. In this process there is direct ATP requirement. Okay. And the carrier proteins are involved in the primary active transports are of two types. First one is the ion transporters and second one is the ABC transporters, that can also be called as ATP binding sachets. Okay. The active transport is categorized into two categories, primary active transport and secondary active transport. The primary active transport, in the primary active transport there is the direct ATP requirement, and in this there will be two types of carrier protein that are involved in this process. First is the ion transporter and second one is the ABC transporter or the ATP binding sachets. Okay. Next is the secondary active transport. What is secondary active transport? In case of secondary active transport, there will be no requirement of the energy, it will be secondary. Okay. In case of secondary active transport, there will be no direct ATP requirement, and the process will be further divided into two types, that is the symport, that is also known as the co-transport, and second one is the antiport, that is can also be called as the counter transport. Okay. In case of symport or the co-transport, this involves the movement of the both molecule in the same direction. That is why it is called as the symport. But in case of antiport, in this the movement of molecules will be in opposite direction. Okay. That is why it is called as the counter transport. Okay. So, this is all about the active transport. Now, what will be the difference between the active transport sorry, this active transport is very much important process than the facilitated diffusion in case of nutrients and the drugs. Okay. And what is the difference between these two? First, the first difference is, in case of facilitated diffusion, drug is moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay. Means the drug is the drug is transported as downhill transport, but in case of active transport there will be uphill transport, means the drug will be moved from lower concentration to the higher concentration. That is why it will be called as the uphill transport. And because there is the requirement of the energy in case of active transport molecule, this process can be stopped by the metabolic poisons. Okay. The another difference between the facilitated diffusion and the active transport is, the active transport is very much faster. Okay. And the third is, because the process is uphill, so energy is required in the work done by the carrier molecule. Okay. And fourth is, because the process requires the expenditure of energy, that is why this process can be inhibited by the metabolic poisons. Okay. So, this is all about the active transport process. Now, this is the diagram that is showing the active transport mechanism. What happens in this? There is the drug molecule. This drug molecules is getting combined with the carrier molecule and a drug carrier complex is formed. Then this drug carrier complex will be transported into the blood, and whenever it reaches the blood, it will get dissociated and the carrier molecule will back into the GI lumen and the free drug will remain in the blood. Okay. So, this is the this is how the active transport process takes place, in which the carrier molecule will bind to the drug molecule and it will form a drug carrier complex. This drug carrier complex can be easily transported from the GI lumen into the blood, and after reaching the blood, this complex will be dissociated, the free drug will remain into the blood and this carrier molecule will come back into the GI lumen to take the another molecule of the drug. Okay. Now, the last transport process that is involved in the drug movement is the vesicular transport or the endocytosis. Okay. In vesicular transport, the transport process that is involved is called as the endocytosis, and this is a minor transport mechanism. This is a minor transport mechanism that involves the engulfing of extracellular materials within a segment of the cell membrane to form a vesicle or to form a saccule. Okay. So, this endocytosis process consists of two processes. It includes two types of processes. First is the phagocytosis and second one is the pinocytosis. Okay. Two types of processes are involved in this endocytosis process, phagocytosis and pinocytosis. What is phagocytosis? This phagocytosis is known as the cell eating. Why it is called as the cell eating? Because in case of phagocytosis, there will be absorptive uptake of the solid substance. In case of pinocytosis, there will be uptake of the substances in the liquid form or in the form of liquid droplets. So, it will be called as the cell drinking. Okay. So, it is called as the cell drinking. Okay. So, the endocytosis are of two types, phagocytosis and pinocytosis. The phagocytosis is known as the cell eating, whereas the pinocytosis is known as the cell drinking. Okay. So, what I have discussed in this class, I have discussed about the carrier mediated transport, and in which facilitated diffusion and active transport is there. After that, I have discussed about the vesicular transport also. In case of carrier mediated transport, there is the involvement of certain carrier molecules that can bind with the drug molecule and can transport this drug molecule from the GI lumen to the blood. Okay. And these carrier molecule can bind reversibly or non-covalently with the solute molecule that we want to get transported. Okay. In case of carrier mediated transport, it is having certain characteristic, means the carriers is having no directionality, means the carrier having the same affinity in both the direction. Okay. Next characteristic of carrier is a carrier protein is always having an uncharged outer surface. The third characteristic of the carrier mediated transport is the transport process is structure specific, like a lock and key arrangement, means the carrier molecule is having special affinity with the molecule. Okay. With the essential nutrients, but there are certain substances that are having the similar structure to the essential nutrients, that nutrients are called as the false nutrients. Okay. The drug, for example, 5-bromouracil or 5-fluorouracil that are act as an anti-neoplastic agent that can be absorbed with the help of carrier mediated transport, because they can also act as the false nutrients. Okay. The carrier mediated transport is capacity limited. Why it is capacity limited? Because the number of carrier molecules sometimes are limited. Okay. And because of this limited number of carrier molecules, there will be this process will be capacity limited. Okay. In case of passive diffusion, whenever we are plotting a curve between the rate of drug absorption and the concentration of drug, we will achieve a linear line. But in case of carrier mediated transport, we will obtain a mix up of both the orders. Okay. That is why in this case of carrier mediated transport, the first order rate process will be get converted into the zero order rate process. That is why the kinetics that is followed in case of carrier mediated transport is called as the mixed order kinetics or the non-linear kinetics or the Michaelis-Menten saturation. So, the carrier mediated transport system is of two types, facilitated diffusion and the active transport. Okay. So, in case of facilitated diffusion, it is a type of carrier mediated transport system that operates down the concentration gradient, that is called as a downhill transport, and it will be at a much faster rate as compared to the simple passive diffusion. And the driving force that is involved in the facilitated diffusion is the concentration gradient. What is the concentration gradient? It is the difference in the drug concentration at the each side of the membrane. Okay. And in this facilitated diffusion, there will be no energy expenditure. Okay. this is the diagram of the facilitated diffusion in which absorption of vitamin B12 takes place. The vitamin B12 is combined with an intrinsic factor that again combined with the carrier molecule, okay, and a complex will be formed, that is the vitamin B12 IF carrier complex. Okay. This complex will be transported into the blood, and here the free drug or free vitamin B12 will be released from this, and this carrier molecule will be back into the GI lumen to take the another molecule of the drug. Okay. This is the facilitated diffusion. Now, the active transport. In the active transport, what takes place? In the active transport, there will be requirement of the energy, and this active transport mechanism is further subdivided into the primary active transport and the secondary active transport process. Okay. In case of primary active transport process, there is the direct requirement of the ATP, and the carrier proteins that are involved in the primary active transports are of two types. First one is the ion transporter and second one is the ABC transporter. Okay. What is ABC transporter? This ABC transporter is the ATP binding sachets. Okay. In the secondary active transport, the transport process involves in the primary active transport there will be no direct requirement of ATP, but in case of secondary active transport there will be no direct ATP requirement. Okay. So, this process will be further subdivided into two types. First is the symport and second one is the antiport. Okay. In case of symport, it is also called as the co-transport, because in this the movement of the both the molecules will takes place into the same direction, but in case of antiport the movement of the molecule will takes place in the opposite direction. Okay. So, this is the diagram that is showing the active transport. What happens in this? The drug molecule is getting bind with the carrier molecule and a drug carrier complex is formed. This drug carrier complex is further transported into the blood. After reaching here, the drug will get released from this and this carrier molecule will be back into the GI lumen. Okay. So, this is all about the active transport. Now, the last type of transport is the endocytosis. It is a type of vesicular transport, means in this the transport will takes place in the form of vesicles. This is the minor transport mechanism, and in this there will be engulfing of the extracellular materials within the segment of the cell membrane, and this engulfing of the extracellular material within the segment of the cell membrane is called as the vesicle or the saccule. That is why this transport mechanism is the vesicular transport. Okay. And this process is of two types. First is the phagocytosis and second one is the pinocytosis. The phagocytosis is also known as cell eating and pinocytosis is also known as the cell drinking. Okay. The absorption of the oral vaccine, that is the polio sabin vaccine takes place by the pinocytosis process. Okay. In the phagocytosis there will be uptake of the solid substances, absorptive uptake of the solid substances, that is why it is called as the cell eating, but in case of pinocytosis there will be the uptake of the substances in the liquid form or in the fluid form. So, it is called as the cell drinking. So, this is all about the mechanism of the drug transport. Okay. Thank you.